Okay, so let's take a look at 2017. What's it portend, or what do we see there? Basically, in a nutshell, I think more of the same. We're going to see some continued pressures on farming operations. They're going to have to continue to watch those dollars and cents and their expenses and costs and try to do things in a better way and continue to build relationships with their financial institutions. And we're going to see more of the same. But let's take a look at the USDA and their projections. This comes from the January 12th World Ag Supply and Demand Estimates. This plots the prices that they expect over the next marketing year for corn, wheat, and soybeans, as well as livestock and the important commodities in the state of Nebraska. And for the most part, you can see corn, wheat are going to be off a little bit compared to last year. But if there's good news, the USDA has revised them a bit upwards over the last month, so they're showing little positive signs in demand growth. Cattle, livestock, or hogs are going to be off compared to last year. They still got some tremendous supplies to work through and try to work through their channels. Soybeans is the only bright spot right now, showing a little bit of price increases over the last year. And so as we project forward to this year, prices overall probably be off a little bit, so there'll be continued pressure on farmers to continue to try to cut their expenses. But the good news is demand is hanging in there pretty good, and given the level of production that we had last year and some of the other circumstances going on, prices are hanging in there better than frankly some of us thought they might at this point in time. So prices kind of continue on. Some things I think that we need to look at in terms of 2017 and some of the factors I think farmers and ranchers should be watching. One of them is, or a couple of them are definitely related to our export markets. And the chart that you see now shows how important export markets and trade is to the farm economy. This shows that ag exports as a percent of value of the gross cash farm income in the country. And you can see we've seen a tremendous amount of growth in that percentage over the last few years since the middle 80s up until now. And now typically exports as a percent of gross farm income are over 30%. So we're heavily reliant on those export markets and trade for our underlying farm income. So knowing that then, a couple things to look at here going into 2017 is one, the value of the dollar. Since the election of President Trump back in November, the value of the dollar hit a 13-year high, and it's come off of that a little bit now. But anytime we see the level of the value of the dollar at levels they're at now, it makes it harder for us to export our goods. It just makes them more expensive and less competitive relative to the rest of our folks in the world economy. So that's one thing to watch. And you'll see, we've highlighted this before, but there's kind of an inverse relationship between the value of the dollar and farm income. So the dollar goes up, farm income goes down. So that's one factor to watch. Another related to trade is President Trump's trade policies. Just this week he announced that we were pulling out of TPP. Well, for Nebraska, we've estimated that's potentially, if that had been enacted, it was worth $378 million of cash receipts to agriculture in this state. A lot of our trading partners, our biggest trading partners right now, Mexico, Japan, and Canada, are part of free trade agreements that we have. And if President Trump continues to tear up these trade agreements or try to pull out of these trade agreements, it could have negative consequences for our export markets, which reflects back on farm income. So I think those are two keys to watch in 2017. Another is interest rates. The Federal Reserve looks like it's going to raise interest rates, and but that's good for folks that have money in CDs. It's not necessarily good for farmers and ranchers. We could see that manifest itself in a couple ways. One, again, is the value of the dollar. Higher interest rates tend to push the value of the dollar higher. Secondly, it increases borrowing costs, and then there's inverse relationship between land values and interest rates. So to the extent they go up, it might push land values down a little bit. So that has some impact on the underlying health. And then finally, watch South America. They're our biggest competitors in the world markets. They're just entering their harvest now, period, on some of their crops. How their production goes will go a long way showing what will happen in 2017 in terms of commodity prices and our ability to export. So in an upshot, 2017, more of the same. We'll see. The good news is we'll see, I think prices will hang in there pretty good. We'll get some farm program payments again coming in that will help with the cash flow situation. and then we'll have to wait and see what happens the rest. If anything, every year is unique and different, and agriculture always manages to weather through it, but we'll just have to see how it goes this year.